Hello, my friends. Welcome to the What's Up in Makeup chat. I'm crossing my fingers. We have sound this week. Last week we had serious sound issues. So I'm hoping I'm just going to pop over to the chat window just to make sure before I do my intro, because last time, I went through my whole intro and we had no sound. So let me just double check, make sure we're all good. I think we're good. No one's commenting, but I'm hoping you can hear me. So let me go ahead and pop into the intro. I have to go back over. Actually, I guess I don't have to look at myself while I do the intro. Hopefully everybody's doing well. It's good to see you guys. Today we're going to be talking about all of the different things and stuff and things and stuff, because there's so much things and stuff when it comes to makeup. There's so much stuff. Like there's creams and there's powders and there's lotions and there's liners and there's gels and there's powders and it's like it can make your head just want to explode with all of the different choices that there are everywhere. At Sephora, the drugstore, everywhere. There's all these stinking choices. Like, how do you even pick what kind of thing you need? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I've got an entire desk full of stuff to kind of talk about, what kinds of stuff we have out there and what our choices are. So before we do, though, I want to take a second to say hello to the collective brain of makeup awesomeness, also known as the people who are in the chat window, who are talking it up, saying hi to each other, hanging out in the community. If you're watching this on the replay, you are also part of the collective brain of makeup awesomeness. I would love awesomeness. I would love for you to leave your thoughts and ideas down below. And if you have questions and things, feel free to ask them in the comments. People in the community are amazing. I would dare to say that we have the best beauty community on all of the internets, because everybody's just super stinking nice. What? Video is gone. Are you serious? What? Seriously? I can see myself fine. I don't know. I'm going to go out and come back. All right. Hopefully we're back. This Google Hangout thing has not been my friend over the past couple of chats. Has not been my friend. So I'm hoping that everything is better. So I'm going to go ahead. Hopefully we're good. Okay, Karen says we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way up to the top as high as I can go and say hello to the first people I can say hello to. All right, looks like Caroline's here and Ruth is here and Alex is here and Denise is here and Sarah and Grace, and it's Ruth's first time here. Yay! And Mary's here. She says, Jen, it's been a long time, but what happened to your app? I'm no longer seeing it. Try again, Mary. It should still be there. We actually just had an update of the app, so you'll get new features if you download it now. It's called What's Up in Makeup. You can search for What's Up in Makeup, or you can search for Jen Loves Reviews on the iOS App Store or on Google Play, whatever that is, the iOS, not the Android version. You should be able to look for it somewhere in one of those. Let's see. So first time for Ruth. Jessica's here. She says, I'm waiting for you with my 7-month-old Lewis. Hi, Lewis. Lewis, he's 7 months old. Hi, Lewis. I was talking to him like he's 7 instead of 7 months. So good to have you here, both Jessica and Lewis. Hello to Cheyenne, Marcy, Tabitha's in the house. Molly's here. Katarina's here, and Grace and Nina and Catherine Downing. Check out her YouTube channel. Jenny Sue is here. Ken's here. Melanie. And did I get everybody? Lots of people. Grady's here. What's up, Grady? And Nellie is here. All right, I'm going to scroll all the way down. If I did not say hello to you, I'm saying hello to you now. Hello and welcome to the What's Up in Makeup chat. So let's go ahead and jump into the stuff that I've got on my table here. It's also, is it Ashelle? Ashelle's first time here? Fantastic. Nellie wants Doritos. I don't got any Doritos. Makeup hasn't gotten to that point yet. Well, you could use Doritos probably as like maybe some kind of lip product or cheap product if you really wanted to be adventurous, but it might be a little chunky. All right, let's start with primer, face primers. So face primers, I've got 3 different things for you. First thing I've got is tinted moisturizer. Tinted moisturizer, I feel like, was the first kind of face primer that I discovered. Adds a little bit of color to your face, kind of evens out your skin tone a little bit before you put on foundation. So tinted moisturizers can be a nice base for a less coverage foundation or even a more coverage foundation. The one that I really like is the Josie Maran Daily Argan Daily Moisturizer Protect and Perfect. It's got a lot of hydration though, so if you have oily skin, you may not like this one, but I really, really like this one. I also don't know if they make lots of skin tones. It's very close to my skin tone, so if you're not my skin tone, this may not work for you, but definitely get a sample at Sephora if you happen to be going by Sephora. Try this one out and see if you like it. So tinted moisturizer is one kind. Then we've got silicone-based primers and not silicone-based primers or water-based primers. So let me just make sure that I'm speaking correctly about this. I'm pretty sure that I am. This is a silicone-based primer. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing. Now, this is the drama with pore minimizing primers. Oh, Christy says Josie Maran is her ride or die, and she's got dry skin. Fantastic. This is the thing about pore minimizing primers, especially ones like this. This can be somebody's holy grail. This can be amazing for some people for filling in their pores. Awesome, amazing, foundation goes over beautifully, feels great on the skin, amazingness. Other people say that it clogs pores and that it's not good because it messes with your skin. For me personally, with my normal skin, Cheryl's asking which do I prefer? Honestly, because I have normal skin, I can go with any of them. I feel very, very fortunate. I did nothing to deserve this. I did not earn this, but I can pretty much use anything. I just kind of go with whatever I feel like doing that day. I honestly though, like if I really had to pick, if you had to make me pick, I would pick the tinted moisturizers. I just like the way they feel. If you want another hydrating kind of thing, this is a water-based primer. This is the Bare Minerals Prime Time. It really feels like water when it goes on the skin. It feels very moisturizing, hydrating, but it doesn't have that pore filling effect. So if you want pore filling, try this out, see if you like it. Hopefully it doesn't clog your pores though. That's the give and take of these kinds of things. Catherine says that Benefit Professional Love It Ride or Die for combo to dry at times is what she uses. Krista says, I need a good primer for winter. I've only used the Becca Backlit, but I don't want glowy skin during the fall, winter. So it really is just what you gravitate toward as far as whether you like a silicone-based primer or a water-based primer. But these are ones that I like that are these specific forms. These are kind of my favorites. I've got so much on this table. I want to just check with the collective brain and see if I missed anything. Nellie says the Bare Minerals one is good, but it clogs. See, you're saying this one clogs pores as well? See, I've never heard that about this. That's very interesting, Nellie. Thank you for sharing that. Jessica says Benefits Professional on my pores and rimmels stay matte in my T-zone is the trick for me. And Becca says if you have problems with your moisturizers not marrying well with your primers, try spritzing some water on your face before you apply your primer. Excellent tip, Becca. Thank you so much for that. And Krista said she heard the Makeup Forever ones are really good. And Psycho Pixie says the NYX Hydrating and NYX Pore Fillers are amazing and super cheap. Heidi says she liked the Smashbox, but the Urban Decay Pore Perfecting Primer is her ride or die. Ride or die has like blown up everywhere. People said ride or die before, but now that that ride or die tag is out, it's like everybody's all ride or die, ride or die. I mean, it is fun to say ride or die. I'm wondering what the opposite of that would be though. Like the worst products, what would you call them? Like fall or live? Like I don't even know what you call them, you know, but anyway, that's off topic. Anyway, recommendations for oily skin. A lot of people who like oily skin, from what I've heard, tend to like the water-based primers because they don't tend to clog pores and they're hydrating, but not so hydrating that it creates more oil. That's what I've heard. Sahaja, I would love to do the ride or die tag. I have a list of a stupid amount of videos that I want to do. So next week, we're definitely doing this. This needs to happen next week. I need to review this. And then I have a TRIA. I got a TRIA system that I need to review next week because it's due next week because they sent me the TRIA for review. So I do want to do the ride or die. It's on my list. It's on my list of things to do. I wanted to do it this week. It just depends on how many days I can film. All right, moving on to, actually, no, we were going to do eye primers. So eye primers, for me, I only really see two different types of eye primers. Those that mute out discoloration and those that don't. The Urban Decay Primer Potions are famous for being pretty amazing, and I think they're pretty amazing. They are dupable, I think, for me personally. I think they're dupable, or at least I'm pretty sure they're dupable. But it's really whether you want to mute out discoloration or not. So the Urban Decay Regular Primer Potion, a nice dupe for this is the one by Coastal Scents. Is actually a pretty close dupe for this. And then the Urban Decay and Eden is my favorite, but I was looking, if you saw my video that went live today on what's on my face, that the the Ulta brand one has very similar ingredients to this one. So if the Ulta brand one is just as good as this one, you know I'm not going to be buying Urban Decay anymore because I'm not spending an extra $10 for this. That'd be crazy. So yes, very excited about this. Cassie from Thrift Deck is here. Hi, Cassie. Good to see you here. Yay. So with primer though, one thing I want to let you know is one thing I think I learned this from Wayne Goss, and I found to be very, very true is when you're putting eyeshadow primer on your eyes, you want to put the littlest amount possible in order to get it all over your lid. Because if you put on too much, you can actually go opposite and make your eyeshadows crease and cake and terribleness. So you definitely don't want to do that. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for eyeshadow primer. Anybody else want to say anything about eyeshadow primer before we move on? Everybody's saying hi to Cassie. Cassie and I have been girls for a long time. It's good to see you here, sweetheart. She said, just put you up on my big screen while I get some packing done. Nice. Ooh, we'll have to chat later about what you're packing for, what you're doing. Sheila says she loves the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer. Yes, it's amazing, isn't it, Sheila? Krista says I just use concealer as an eye primer. Anyone else? See, I've heard that that's really good, especially if you don't have many fine lines on your eyes. I've heard that concealer tends to break down a little more as you get older and you start having more fine lines and wrinkles and your eyelids aren't as taut. So I've heard that it's not as good to use concealer, but when you're younger, seems to be pretty good. That's what I've heard. I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard. So Pancakes is here. What's up, Pancakes? Let's see. Nick's shadow base is great, Adeline says. Carolyn says Painterly is probably one of my favorites. Max Painterly is super fab. Oh, Cassie's moving this week. You got your own place. Yay, congratulations. That's so exciting. I'm not surprised, girlfriend. You're a go-getter. You're a go-getter. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to go on to concealer. Okay, 3 different types of concealer where really it's only 2 types of concealer. These 2 are pretty much the same in my eyes. We have like a tubey kind of concealer, and then we've got a pot concealer. But really for me, they're relatively the same as far as formula, application, all of that. I feel like some concealers blend better with a brush, some blend better with fingers, but it really doesn't seem to be whether it's in a tube or a pot that makes a difference. It's just the individual formula. That's my opinion. These are 2 that I really, really like a lot. The NYX Dark Circle Concealer, super fab, and then the Bye Bye Under Eye by It Cosmetics. Now, I've heard people say that the It Cosmetics one does crease in fine lines, so be careful of that. Another one I really, really like is the Bare Minerals Concealer. I was obsessed with this for the longest time, but I'm running out of it, and I'm like holding on to my last bits of powder in here. This is in Summer Bisque. Super, super fab. I was surprised at how much this would conceal. Again, be careful with caking under the eyes, especially if you have oily skin. You may not like a powder because it might cake up in the oils and kind of get in there and get all, so just be careful of that. But concealers, that's kind of the different formulas and what's going on with them. You know, I can't really think of anything else. Anybody else, anything? Everybody's talking about the Shape Tape by Tarte. Everybody's talking about it. I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. I haven't decided yet. Because I have so many things I want to review right now. I'm getting a little overwhelmed. So I need to go through the things that I've already bought and then maybe get something else. Oh, Christy's talking about the Bye Bye Redness. My friend Laura over at Mrs. Lynn loves that stuff. Catherine says, I like the NYX, but Fit Me is her ride or die. Emma says the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer changed her life. It's super high coverage and thick, but it blends so beautifully. She says acne and rosacea, and it's good for her. Let's see. Cassie says, I feel like concealers in the pot are a bit heavier and thicker, and in the tube, they're a bit more liquidy. Coverage is usually good either way. The Urban Decay Naked Concealer is worth all of the hype, though. Yeah, and I would agree with you. I think so. I mean, I think it just kind of depends on what's in the tube, whether it's thicker than this. But they can be runnier. You're absolutely right, Cassie. Absolutely right. Let's see what anybody else. Alana says Rimmel Perfect Match. Rimmel Match Perfect, lightweight and decent coverage. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the next one because we're 15 minutes in. I have so much on this table I want to share with you. Let's move on to brows. Now, brows, I feel like the different formulas of brow products make a huge difference in how they apply. So 3 major types of brow products. You've got powders, you've got pencils, and you've got gel, pot, dip, browish, creamy stuff, okay? Nellie says the Naked Concealer oxidizes on her. Very interesting. Chrissy says the Urban Decay Naked Concealer is awesome. She returned the Shape Tape. It was too heavy, like full coverage foundation thick. That's good to know. Okay, back to this. All right. I feel like if you want Instagram brows, you want to go for, like, if you want really defined brows, the best way to get it easily and quickly is the Anastasia Dip Brow, the Ka-Brow by Benefit. These are kind of the ones where you can really outline, really get that defined shape really, really thick, like paint. Spoolie it through. If you don't have a lot of eyebrows, this may be a good option for you. If you don't have a lot of brow, or if you've got spaces to fill in, things like that, these are good. Kind of in the middle for that, I would say, are pencils. Pencils you can really draw and define, but you're not going to get as thick of an application, so you can kind of draw hairs almost. You know, you take your pencil and you literally draw hairs in where you want hairs. I mean, you don't want it to be like you know, straight lines, but kind of, you know, like, you know, kind of wisp it out a little bit, you know, kind of color it in a little bit like that. Okay, not like meh, meh, meh. We don't want to look like a doll, you know, but I feel like this is kind of in the middle as far as being able to fill things in, making it look like real hair. I feel like this is more. This is my favorite one. This is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. Really, really good. Karina's talking about the NYX Micro Pencil. I did have that, but it was the wrong color for me, so I ended up kind of like on that one, but it was just because of the color. It wasn't because of the formula. It was very nice. This is very similar to the Anastasia Brow Wiz, which is also an amazing product. Really, really good. For powders, this is the powder that I love the best. This is by Bodyography. So amazing. Really, really good. I feel like with powders, I think it's the hardest to fill in the spaces with powders. If you don't have brows, I probably personally wouldn't recommend a powder over the pencil or the gel, just because I feel like it's harder to work with to actually create a brow. And it's just more difficult, where I feel like it's easier to really draw with these, where this is more of like a fill-in kind of product. It's not to say that this isn't possible to use this to kind of create a brow, but I feel like this is more for fill-in than for making an actual brow. Pancake says powders don't stay as well either, because there's nothing for them to attach to. There's nothing, if you have no brows, there's nothing for them to attach to with a powder. So if you're just doing a little bit of fill-in, powder might be the way you want to go. And then more intense going toward the pencil and the gel. Feeling good? Anybody else want to say anything about brows before we go on? Grady says, I'm so hopeless at brows. Ginger hair makes it so hard to find a good color match that doesn't look absurd on me. I've heard that the Anastasia has a really good reddish tone pencil. Carolyn says the Dior Brow Styler is pretty good. And Ashelle says, I feel like powders give me a softer look, and I would imagine that that would be true. Christy says, I don't use the, oh, she's talking to Sahaja. She says, I've been with Anastasia Dip Brow for years. Oh, I lost it. Catherine says, powder with a brow mascara over. That's another option, absolutely. Scarlett says, Wet n Wild has good brow powders. And Jessica says, I really hate doing my brows. LOL. I mean, your brows shape your face. If you've never done your brows before and you have sparse brows, try it out. Try it out and see what you think. Get something that's a little less expensive. You know, go for the NYX, go for the L'Oreal, something like that, and try it out. And you might really like it. It's a little bit shocking at first. I think when you don't have brows or if you have really blonde hair, I have one of the teachers I used to work with, she has blonde hair, no brows, like you cannot see her brows. And I convinced her to do her brows. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so many compliments and all this stuff. And I'm like, I know, right? But it took her a little while to get used to it because you're not used to seeing that on your face. So definitely try it out if you haven't. Pancake says, I got a sample of the Milk Brow Pencil. It's a gel pencil and she likes it. Becca says the 24-hour brow pomade is nice because it's got fibers to help fill it in. Which one are you talking? Oh, It Cosmetics. It's meaning It Cosmetics. Interesting. It's got fibers to help fill it in. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So, oh, Jessica says Ulta has a decent brow pencil too. Nice. All right. So moving on, it is 5:19. I saw a table full of stuff. All right. Foundations. This is going to be a little while, ladies and gentlemen. Foundation. So many different types of face evening out products. It's crazy how many. So many. So let's start with BB creams and CC creams. BB creams and CC creams. All right. The difference between, I get asked this all the time. If you already know this answer, I apologize for boring you. Fast forward a little bit if you're watching on the replay. If you're watching it live, you just got to wait for me to be done. All right. BB creams and CC creams. Big difference between these and foundations is that, number one, they tend to have skincare benefits. They throw they throw SPF in them, and they throw anti-aging stuff, or they throw in stuff that's supposed to be a benefit to your skin, okay? Now, BB cream is called a beauty balm. This one is typically more like a tinted moisturizer, a little less coverage. CC cream, color correcting cream. Typically a little more coverage, a little closer to a foundation, but still both having skincare benefits. So you got to think about what kind of coverage you want. If you want less coverage, go for a BB cream. A little more coverage, go for a CC cream. Are we good? Good? Okay. Ali says the It CC cream is really amazing. It is a really nice product. The shade's a little off for me, the one that I have. I need to get a different one. Cheryl says something about Aqua Seal. I don't know. Make It Forever Aqua Seal. Nellie says, how do you feel about Rimmel Lasting Finish? It's one of my favorites. I've never used it. I think Cassie reviewed it though, and I think she thought it was awesome, if I remember that video. Emma says, I think an underrated foundation is the Gosh Exception Long Wear Foundation. I've never heard of that. It's light and moistening, but I still love the coverage. Just thought I'd throw it out there since no one talks about it. Interesting. Deanna says, I love the It Cosmetics CC cream. Everybody seems to love that stuff. I like it too. So BB cream, CC cream. We good. Yes to the CC. Jennifer says. Tracy says the CC is the only BB and CC I like. The It CC is the only CC she like. Cassie from Thriftic says the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB cream is a game changer for oily skin. The only BB that sticks on me. Thank you for that. All right. BB and CC. Now, let's say you put on your BB and CC cream, one or the other, or you put on your foundation. It's a little too light of coverage. You want to go for a powder foundation. Okay, that's what I'm wearing today on my face. I'm wearing a powder foundation. I'm actually wearing this one, which is the Mary Kay one. It's really, really nice, actually. But powder foundation, I kind of feel, in my opinion, that if you're a makeup person, this is something you should have in your arsenal. You should have some kind of powder foundation, whether it's a loose mineral powder foundation like this one or a pressed one like this. You should have one because it's really nice to add on to your foundation. Or like today when I didn't feel like doing my foundation, I just wanted a little bit of coverage, just a little bit, just to get me, a little more matte, little bit of evening out of the skin tone without a lot of hassle. If you like a light coverage, you may be able to just use this and cut out the whole powder step and make your morning routine or your evening routine go a little bit faster. Really, really like these a lot. This is the Too Faced one. Smells like chocolate. I just got to smell it all the time. Smells amazing. Smells absolutely amazing. And then this one is a mineral version. Anytime you get anything loose like this, it's going to be a little messy. Just be aware of that. But I think it's totally worth it, in my opinion. I really like it a lot. So I definitely recommend buying one of these kinds of products. Maybe not necessarily these brands. It's up to you. These are two that I like. But there's lots of good ones out there. Sheila says, I use powder foundation as a setting powder too. Yes, exactly. And it gives a little bit of extra coverage too. It's very nice. Carolyn says, Bare Minerals is the best powder foundation, the original one. And Allie says they make great foundations for pale girls. Who is this that makes great foundations for pale girls? I want to know. Animal Rescue Geek, I like the It powder. Laura Mercier mineral powder. Krista says, powder foundation makes my makeup cakey. And I don't even put that much on. What brand are you using, girlfriend? That's not good. I don't know. I'd be curious to know what the oily skin girls think about that. About the whole making your makeup cakey. So I would imagine it would be more accentuated with someone with oily skin as far as the cakiness. But I don't know. I've never had that problem. That's just me personally. So, hi, Alma. Alma says she's like, that's okay, girlfriend. Elizabeth says Bare Minerals makes her skin itch. Oh, no. Love to Teach says, I like the Maybelline Fit Me 110 matte and poreless. Pancake says my skin is too dry for powder foundation. Even if you put like a tinted moisturizer or something hydrating on underneath, wow. Animal Rescue Geek says if you're cakey, try a setting spray. That's what I use. See, this is what the collective brain is all about. Us all helping each other find solutions. This is pretty awesome. Pam says, I am oily and I can put powder on for days. Nice. All right. next kind of foundation is one that I'm not particularly fond of, and it is the cushion foundations. Not the biggest fan of cushion foundations. This is the Physicians Formula one. And I can tell you the big reason why I'm not a fan of these is because they typically contain half as much product and they're typically twice as expensive. And I don't think that they're worth the price tag that people are putting on these. I think it's insane. I do tend to like the application of it, of these, I do, but like this one in particular, I don't know. Well, you know what? It was the L'Oreal one that didn't last a super long time. But I do like the finish of it, but I just think the price is just outrageous, absolutely outrageous. And they are kind of gimmicky. Jennifer says the cushions seem gimmicky to me. I think that they are. They're definitely gimmicky. Cheryl says, I find that when you get older, powder foundations make you look older. That's good to know. Sahaja says, I normally just use foundation and then translucent powder or else mineral foundation like Bare Minerals if I want a lighter look. And Karen says, I think cushion foundations are a waste. Too much money for too little product. And Pam says, good to know about the Ready formula. And then Animal Rescue Geek says, the cushion is gimmicky. Nellie says, not into cushions. I got rid of the L'Oreal Lumi. It's too sheer and clings to my dry patches. And then Kin says, I don't like cushion foundations. And Alma says it has no coverage. And Cassie says, yeah, American cushion foundations are redonkulous. Yeah, that sums it up. That sums it up. Rose says, seems like not a lot product for a cost. Yeah, absolutely. And Alma says, Physicians Formula makes terrible foundations anyway. Becca says, the CC veil is worth every penny. It does something wonderful for my skin in the winter. Nice. So I think it's a nice idea, but I agree. I think it is a little bit gimmicky, and I hate the price point. I hate the price point. I think it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right. Three more kinds of foundation. Got 3 more kinds of foundation. All right, next up, these kinds are kind of similar. These are kind of similar. Actually, there should be 4 more kinds of foundation. I'm thinking about it. There's the typical liquid foundation. I don't think we need to go too much into liquid foundations because that's kind of the standard. These are kind of the weird ones. So liquid foundation exists. I should probably get one. It's a traditional. All right. There's a couple of liquids that I really like a lot. This one I really like. Nobody talks about this. This is the Maybelline Dream Velvet. Really like this one a lot. It's a soft matte, so it's not like super matte, but it's got a nice coverage and just leaves a really pretty look to the skin. This is another one I like. This one's more matte. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I really like that. And this one's a little bit more full coverage. I like this one a lot for filming. This is the Born This Way by Too Faced. This is really nice, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on regular foundations because this is about the weird stuff. So Pancake says foundations are so skin specific, so hard to give recommendations, and I completely agree. That's why we're here in the collective brain, so we can all help each other. Because when you tell me what works for dry skin, oily skin, combo skin, we can all work together to spread the information that's the most important. Grady says, Jen was the one who gave me advice on what foundation to wear for my wedding, the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Holla! And it was killer. Yes. I remember that, Grady. All right. So we have stick foundations and then these pancakey kind of foundations. Pancake foundations go way back to like Estee Lauder and the good old days, good old glory days of makeup. This is the Time Balm by The Balm. Really full coverage. Woo! Super full coverage. One thing I don't like about this is I feel like it collects dirt and dust and yuck in the pan because it is kind of a, it's a creamy formula, and for whatever reason it's collecting ick in here, and I don't know why. I sound like I leave it open. I don't know, but really full coverage, like cake face full coverage. Like when I like to use with these, I like to use a beauty blender because I feel like I can get it where I want without too much. Like I kind of dab a little bit on. I put my beauty blender in here or whatever sponge I'm using. I put it in here and I just kind of dab a little bit and then I blend it in and it works really, really well. Alma says it's sticky. This one can be, definitely. And then the stick foundations I feel like are kind of the same in that you can get more coverage, I feel like, with a stick foundation. This is the new Hourglass one. I got it with Ipsy Points. I'm still testing it out. Mine is in the shade Nude, and it works pretty well for my skin. I don't have a verdict on this yet, but I did want to show it to you. Jennifer says pancake makeup is perfect for the stage. Absolutely. When I was in plays, when I was in high school, that's all we used. Rose says, OMG, stick foundation. Can you say Ben Nye? Yeah, right. Let's see. Pancakes are always a good idea. Sheila says Makeup Forever stick has a beautiful finish. Good to know. Has anyone tried the Anastasia Beverly Hills stick out yet? I know I have not. Nellie says she wants the Hourglass so bad. If you have Ipsy points, they've got a bunch of them still over there. Kitty says the e.l.f. stick foundations are fantastic. Still can't believe that they're gone. I know, right? So upset about that. They got rid of them. Hopefully they come out with a new brand, not a new brand, but a new version of it. Sherry says, are you a teacher, Jen? I was for 11 years. I am no longer. I resigned. Yes. Now I'm a full-time YouTuber. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it. And I touch base with my teacher friends and see how things are going, and they tell me all the gossip, and we're good. Let's see. Pam says, I'm waiting for color matching in store for the Anastasia Beverly Hills sticks. That's a great idea. That's smart. Jenna says, I really wanted the Hourglass one, but influencer didn't pick me. Oh, man. Julie says she stocked up on the e.l.f. sticks. Good job. Sherry, I used to teach. I was a resource teacher. I taught 4th grade for a couple years, and I was a special education and resource teacher for the rest of the time. All right. So anybody else want to say anything else about foundation? Animal Rescue Geek said I didn't do an amazing job with YouTube. Thank you so much. And Steph says VMAs might have a tendency to suck tonight. How did we end up on the VMAs? I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that too. Rose says I don't look old enough for that. I am 38 years old, so I actually took a while to graduate from college. Karen says Max Factor had a great stick foundation back in the 90s. Good to know. Monica, live chat started at 5, so about 30 minutes ago. Let's see. Maria says, honestly, for every day I use Wet n Wild Coverall foundation. Works fine for me. And for more special occasions, Makeup Studio foundations are amazing if you can find them. Live chat next week is 10 a.m. Eastern time. So Heidi says, you don't look old enough to have worked that long. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Sherry says, thanks. I'm at 31 years old. 31 years teaching? Bless you. Bless you. 31 years teaching. Bless you, bless you, bless you. All right. Last kind of foundation I forgot. One more. Breaking out the Serum Foundation. Serum Foundations. This is the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Pure Brightening Serum Foundation. I feel like my lipstick's caking up on me. All right. Serum Foundation. Serum Foundation I actually kind of like because you can build it up. You can start off with a really light coverage and build it up really easily. This one in particular, I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't like the way that it wears down. I find that it kind of breaks up on the skin as it wears down. I feel like, you know, even when I shake it and get it all mixed before I use it, it just doesn't seem to apply the way that I want it to apply. The Hourglass Immaculate is close to a Serum Foundation, but not really. But I like that one a lot better, the Hourglass one. What makes it a serum is that it's supposed to have good health, good skincare benefits, and you've got this little drippy thing. Let me get a brush real quick so I can show you. So I got rid of the brush that I bought with it. I bought the Bare Minerals brush that came with it, but I'll show you. So what you do is you go like this and you drop, hold on a minute, come on. You're gonna drop here? What are you doing here? All right. So you drop it onto the brush like this, and it's like drippy. And then let me get a, I'll put some on. I have blush on, but it's gonna go away now. And then you just kind of paint it on like that. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Now I'm gonna be all lopsided on my face. But that's how that works, is it's like a drippy kind of thing. And it's supposed to have like serum-y kinds of things. So yeah, you know what's great? Rose, she says, nice to see older folks here as well. I'm 53. I have such a range of viewers. Like if I look at my stats, I have viewers from teenagers all the way up to viewers in their 60s. So it makes me really happy that a lot of people of a lot of different ages can enjoy my channel. It's pretty awesome. Tracy says she's been a teacher for 23 years. Bless you as well. Sabrina says, my daughter absolutely loves the Bare Minerals Serum Foundation. It didn't work for me, but she's only 18. So that's good to know. So maybe it might work for younger people. Elizabeth says, I feel the same way about Bare Minerals Serum. I thought I was the only one. I love the validation when we can agree on something and it's like, yeah, I feel the same way. It's like, yes. Byrne says, not old, but sure. Exactly. 60 years young. One of my best friends is 60. So, you know, we can all hang out. All right. I was trying to think if I had any like really younger. The reason why I paused for a second, I was thinking of, do I have any really young friends? And I don't. Most of my friends are older. All right. So anyway, or my age or older. All right. But anyway, I'm not opposed to anybody younger though. I just don't have any interaction with people that are that much younger than me. So Molly's here. She's 16. Yay, that's awesome, Molly. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about some blush. All right, blush products. So lots of different kinds of blush products. We have the traditional powder blush. This is a Tarte blush in the shade Tipsy. I don't know what is going on here with the pigmentation of it. Powder blushes can range from very, very pigmented and give you clown face very easily to very buildable. I feel like they're the easiest to work with, powder foundations overall. I guess it kind of depends on the formula though, because some of them can be super, super pigmented and take a lot to blend out, and some of them take a lot of work to build up. But I feel like compared, no, you know what? I'm gonna back up on that. I don't think they're the easiest to work with because there's such a variation. I'm like, as I'm talking out loud, I'm like, no, I don't agree with what I just said. I feel like these are kind of in the middle. They can be easy to work with, but then they can be bad. They can be hard to work with. Nightly Fall says, I love powder blushes because you can build them up. Sometimes you can't. I think it depends on the formula. Like I feel like Tarte blushes are really famous for being very easy to build up. Start off nice and light, then build it up. Amazingness. But actually, my favorite kind of formula to work with are cream blushes. And let me tell you why. Stick with me here. Stick with me here why I like them. I like them because I feel like you take your finger like this. I put on foundation, so I'm going to see if I can do this here. So I can make my cheeks match again. I totally don't even match. Like the two sides of my face look completely different. I don't even care. All right, so I go like that. It looks really dark and crazy, right? And then I just go like this. And I smack myself a little bit. And now I blush. And I just feel like it's super easy. It's just really easy to work with. Stippling brush works great, but I love cream blushes. Love them. And I feel like they just look so pretty the way they blend into the skin. Just super, super easy to work with. The only thing about cream blushes is you have to kind of be careful with whatever powder you're using if you've got a powder on, because it can cake up in the blush and it can make it look a little funky. If you've got powder and mix it with the cream, it can be kind of weird. So I try to, since I use a lot of cream blush, I try to wait till you do powder until the very end. I do like a finishing powder at the end, and sometimes I don't put any powder at all recently because the luminous look has been so popular, and I don't have particularly oily skin. I haven't been using a lot of powder lately, so really, really like cream blushes because I feel like they're super easy. So if you've never tried a cream blush, definitely recommend trying it. CYR says, I use cream blushes with a small e.l.f. stippling brush, and I do exactly the same thing. Fantastic. Becca says, not into cream blushes. I feel like you can use lipstick and get the same results. Well, that's true. But what's wrong with that? Girlfriend, use your lipstick. Use your lipstick if you want to. Do your thing. And Carolyn says she hates cream blush. And Catherine says, I've never tried cream blush. And Marina says that cream blushes don't look good on textured skin because of the sheen. Well, there you go. Good to know. Well, I guess it depends though, because this one doesn't have a shine to it. This one has, I mean, it looks like it's got a shine, but it doesn't. Like, not on my face. There's no shine. I think it depends on the formula you're using. Maybe you're using a formula that's got shine to it, but this one doesn't. This one, I didn't even say what it was. Did I, Fiona? This is by Bobbi Brown, and it is the small one. It is a sample because I very rarely buy full sizes. This is the Pot Rouge for lips and cheeks in the shade Blushed Rose. And I love this one for winter. I think it's a beautiful winter color, but I wear it all year. But I especially like it for winter. Let's see. Jenny says, I don't like cream highlighter or blush. And you know what I don't like is cream contour. Cannot get a handle on cream contour to save my stinking life. Would much rather use a powder contour. Cannot use cream contour at all. Cream highlights, I can kind of get behind. But my favorite cream cheek product has definitely got to be cream blushes. I really, really like them. This one is a deluxe size sample. It's not a full size, Kaylee. Sheila says, I just ordered the Nude Sticks Lip and Cheek. Can't wait to try. Let me know what you think. Sahaja says, Jen, you need to try the Milk Makeup Blush Oils. You will love them. Ooh, good to know. Vanessa says, cream blush equals scary for me. Did you see how easy that was? Vanessa, did you see how easy that was? You just put on your face and you smack yourself a few times and it blends in and it's so easy. It's so easy. Cream contour tend to be too orange, Marina. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Sherry says she loves the makeup news. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Elizabeth said, I also use the small stippling brush with cream blushes. It works great. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Cream products can be good for oily skin. Put it on first. Put your foundation on. Put your cream blush on. Put your powder on top. You're solid. You're solid. That's my opinion. But people with oily skin probably know better than me. But that's my thought. I don't have oily skin, so I can only speak from an outsider's perspective. So, you know. Speaking of cream blushes, another product that I really like. Now, this is something if you have texture you don't want. This is by Julep, and this was part of a sponsored video, but this video is not sponsored. This is the cream to powder blush stick in Golden Guava. Shiny, 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 shiny. If you have texture skin, it's gonna look really bad. But if you don't, it's very, very pretty. Let me swatch a little bit. See that shine? It's got a nice shine to it. It's got a little bit of a gold, like glittery kinds of stuff on there. And I really like this one a lot. I feel like it melds into the skin very nicely, but I can see why some people would not like this at all. I like blush sticks. I like blush sticks. I like cream blushes. I've liked them since I first started playing with makeup, like really into makeup when I first started my channel almost 4 years ago. I really, really was into the Sephora cream blush was my favorite. But now I really like the Julep sticks, and I really like the Bobbi Brown. Those are really, really nice. Now, ColourPop is kind of its own entity. It's kind of its own entity. ColourPop has like this spongy, weird texture to it. It's very odd. I think of all ColourPop products, I probably like the cream blushes are one of my favorite things, the cream blushes and cream highlights. They're not powder, they're not quite cream, they're just weird. Like I don't really know, they're almost like a clay is kind of what it feels like. I don't know if you can see that. But I feel like these kind of lay on the skin instead of melding into the skin like the cream products that I have and the stick products that I have. I mean, you can get them to go in, but I mean, I like them, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get more. It's one of those kind of things. Like I'm happy to have the ones I have, but not kind of my favorites. Psycho Pixie says, adore ColourPop. Sorry about that. Getting an order tomorrow and I cannot wait. What are you getting? Are you getting blushes? That's what I want to know. Carolyn says, Becca blushes are nice, but again, they freaking break me out. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. That's terrible. Well, you know, Becca's stuff doesn't last on me for some reason. I don't know. Natalie says the Makeup Revolution cream blush sticks are nice. And Steph says she has the ColourPop. Wait, I have like all the ColourPop highlighters. Do you like them though, Steph? I like them. Nellie says ColourPop everything is her jam. Jenna Lee says love ColourPop blushes. Another person said ColourPop, you went away too fast. I missed it. Love to Teach says I need to try a ColourPop one. Natalie says where can I buy ColourPop? Is it in stores in the States? No, it's only on the ColourPop website. That's the only place you can buy them. I don't feel like they've branched out at all. Tina says I love the Natasha Denona blushes. Haven't gone there. Little out of my price range. It's only for special occasions. Krista says ColourPop needs to open their own store. Totally agree. I would imagine they would eventually because they are blowing up. Blowing up. All right, so I've got one more blush for me. We got 20 minutes left, and I still got to get through eyeliners, eyeshadows, and lip products. So let me show you these. Okay, this is the Sephora Cheek Gel, and these are tints from Benefit. These are probably my least favorite blush formula, the liquidy kind. This one goes on your face and then promptly disappears. Stinking horrible. Horrible product. Do not like it at all. These are the opposite. They go on your cheek and then they stay there like a stain and they don't move. They are really difficult to work with. Thankfully, though, Benefit didn't make them have a ton of pigment. So you don't have the stain, like they're just really hard. Yes, exactly. Nellie says blush tints always end up streaky on me. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. They're really hard to work with. The only one that I personally like that I've ever tried, I've tried the Balms one, I've tried all of these from Benefit. The only one I really like is actually by a brand called Elizabeth Mott, which does they do a lot of stuff with subscription boxes, and it's called Tints and Sass. And that one's actually pretty good, but you still have to kind of tap it out to get it to work. So, you know. Yeah, so I don't really like these. I don't recommend them. I feel like they're difficult to work with, and they're not my favorites. That's my personal opinion. All right, is there anything else that we need to talk about blushes before we move on? Let's see. CYR says, okay, not hearing good things about those tints, so I don't think I will try them. Yeah, they're not good. Carolyn says stains are a big no-no. Love to Teach says, looks like NARS. I'm not sure which NARS you're talking about. Scarlett says, I just looked up the BS Cosmetics today. Yeah. It's a very interesting website. Digna says, I'm so excited to see you. This is my first time in live chat. Yay, hopefully I said your name right. And then what about spray blushes? Cheyenne, I don't own any spray blushes. That sounds scary. I don't like to spray anything on my face, and anything with color in it really freaks me out. So never, never, never would I ever. Not in a box with a fox, not on a plane with a stain. No, never. I will never get a spray blush. Well, I can't say never say never, because I could do it as a like joke, but no. No, thank you. No, thank you. All right. Eyeshadow. Got 15 minutes left. Eyeshadow. Steph says, like, people who, oh, you're talking, I know what you're talking about. All right. Krista says, Jen, you don't want to. Instant clown face. Oh, no. Not a good idea, Vanessa says. All right, eyeshadow. Of course, there's traditional eyeshadow. There's the single, there's palettes, there's singles of powder eyeshadow. Honestly, powder's the way to go. If you have never really gotten into eyeshadow, if you've never, if you don't have a lot of experience with makeup, you've got to do powders. Powders is like the best, easiest way to apply eyeshadow, in my opinion. I don't feel like that there's anything else that anybody should be doing unless you're bored. Okay? If you're bored with powder eyeshadows, there's tons of other options. But if you're not bored and you're still trying to figure it out, please go with powder, because I feel like it's like the easiest way to learn how to do eyeshadow. Eyeshadow is my favorite topic too, Cheyenne. And Sarah, that's my favorite too. Okay, the only exception to this rule, there's one exception to my just buy powder thing, and that is for if you just want an all-over lid color. An all-over lid color. So today I am wearing the Maybelline Color Tattoo Eye Chrome. This is the only one of these that I own. Having a lot of fun with it. Today's the first day I've worn it. And I just put this on my lids, one and done. And it's got such a pop of color. Powders can be, especially pressed powders, can take a lot of building to give you intensity, to give you that bop, that pop, that bam. So if you want the pop and the bam, you want to either go with a pigment or you want to go with a cream. Okay. Who said they're out? Who's leaving here? Somebody just said, I'm out. Whoever that was, I missed you. Have a great week. I missed it. So yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So using powder eyeshadow, I feel like, is the easiest thing to do. Kind of a step up in poppiness would be to use mineral eyeshadows. My favorite brand of mineral eyeshadow is called Geek Chic Cosmetics. I love me some Geek Chic Cosmetics. Such unique shades. Indie Brands is the way to go for mineral eyeshadows. For loose powder pigments, Indie Brands is what's up, because they come up with such unique colors that you just can't get anywhere else. Same thing with nail polish. I find that with nail polish, you can really get some unique, fun colors when you're talking about Indie Brands with nail polish and with loose eyeshadow pigments. Check this one out. Okay, this one is probably my favorite pigment of all time. It's called Luck Dragon. It's named after Falcor from The Neverending Story. And it is this gorgeous pink. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I don't know if it's going to do it justice because I'm not looking at myself, but oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, it takes my breath away. Takes my breath away. This is the thing. All right. Allie says, I'm so over loose shadow. And that's where I was going. Stuff's messy, girlfriend. It is really, really messy. Like, this has a sifter in it, but it's still super messy. Really, really messy. And that's just something you deal with when you deal with loose powder. Anything, loose powder foundation, loose powder loose powder eyeshadow, is it can be very messy. So just be prepared for that. But you can get some amazing, really fun colors. Krista says, I only use Tati's LOC shadow sticks for quick looks. Yeah, and I have Tati's ones, but I also have like the julep ones. This was not part of the sponsor video. This is something that I had already. This is the one in stone. This is a really nice all-over lid color if you want your eyes to look more deep set. If you want your eyes to be more deep set, you want to put them in shadow. So you can use a darker color to do that. That's kind of the way that my eyes are today. If you want them to kind of pop out, then that's when you use like a lighter shade to kind of make them pop. So these are really nice. I mean, and also is it Laura Mercier? Yes, the Laura Mercier ones are really, really good too. My friend Lucinda just swears by the Laura Mercier ones. Let's see. Becca says, I have tons of loose powder eyeshadow pigments and I don't ever touch anymore because I think that they're kind of a pain to get out and use. I know for me personally, I feel like I would reach for a palette. I reach my palettes over my single shadows because it's less thinking. With a palette, you've got everything you need all together for the most part. With individual shadows, you kind of have to pick and mix and match and figure out which ones go with which ones. So I find a lot of that too, you know, that I need to think more with my individual ones, so I end up using my palettes more often. But if you want more punchy color, you may want to try pigments. Also, I've got with the shadows, the cream shadow version, we've got these. This one's the only one like I said, this is the only one that I own, and today's the first day I'm wearing it, so I can't really review it. But I like it so far, first impression. The NYX cream shadows. I think I hated these, if I remember right. I think they're a little chunky, if I remember right. It's been a really long time since I've used this. I just brought it out, and I'm pretty sure it was chunky. Pretty sure. But that kind of idea is kind of what I wanted to show you. Also, to kind of go along with that, the color tattoos, the ones that are in the pot, this one's actually my favorite. This one is in Bad to the Bronze. This one's a really nice all over lid shade. Let me see if I can find a spot. I'm running out of skin here. I don't know if you can, how much you can see that, but it's really nice. Also, the e.l.f. smudge pots are really good. This one is in Cruisin' Chic. Are to Bad to the Bronze, now looking at them together. So that's Cruisin' Chic by e.l.f. and then that's Bad to the Bronze by Maybelline. So those are really nice, but what my problem with the liquids and the creams is I find them difficult to make more than one color work together. If I want an one eyeshadow look, super easy to do. For using powders and creams, sometimes they just don't play well together, and it makes it more difficult. So you might not want to use a cream or a stick with a powder. It just adds so much effort that you don't necessarily need to add into your life. You got enough going on in your life probably that you don't need extra drama. And it might cause extra drama in your life. CYR says Bad to the Bronze is lovely. It really is. It's very nice. Cheryl says I like to use the smudge pots under my eye because they don't move yet. You mean like as a lower lash line? Nice. Great idea. Sydney says I'm a powder eyeshadow fan for life, but I've been dying to try one of the By Terry sticks. They're just so expensive. I know, right? I know. Kaylee says I have a palette and I only use like 5 out of the 12 colors because I have a favorite eye look. I love Bad to the Bronze too. Yeah, definitely. Nancy says, what do you think of the Touchin Soul Eye Cream? Nancy sent me the Touchin Soul Eye Cream. Let me show you. I've swatched it. Where is it? It's in my bin here. I've swatched it. I have not put it on my eye. I had to choose today between the Maybelline and this one, Nancy. Oh no, let me get it out. It's right here. Here we go. Touchin Soul. Nancy, you are amazing. Nancy sent me this too. Right here. She got me the one in, let's see, what shade is this? This is in Adelio, I believe. Let's swatch it. These are pretty pricey, and I don't think they're easy to get. Look at that. Look at that chromy beautifulness. So that's the cream part, and then the glitter part. Actually, I'm going to do 2 swatches. I'm going to do the one with glitter over top and one without glitter on top. Okay. We'll do the glitter by itself too. So we'll do glitter. Woo! It's kind of crumbling on me. Okay. Okay. So here, okay, there's the glitter. There's the glitter with the cream, and then there's the cream by itself. Just, oh my gosh. But I haven't put it on my eyes yet, because I have so many things that I'm testing out, Nancy. So many things and stuff and things. I've been into the Ulta palette. Trying to test the Ulta stuff for the review, for the brand review. So I will get it on my eyeballs. It just didn't happen today. Try to wipe some of this off with my towel because I'm going crazy with my swatch right now. Oh my goodness, we only have 5 minutes left. Ah! Nancy says it's kind of a darker one. It was the only one that was left yet, but it's very nice. I really like it, but I just felt like the Maybelline Color Tattoo matched my outfit a little better for today. ColourPop was the other thing I was going to talk about. Last one. Speaking of ColourPop, love to teach This, I'm not a big fan of ColourPop eyeshadows for the same reason I'm not as big of a fan of using creams in general, because I feel like they're difficult to work with. Especially with the ColourPops, I feel like it's hard to get it exactly where I want it with a brush. Like, brush is very difficult to use. Unless you have one of those really flat brushes, it makes it a little bit easier, but I just have trouble getting it exactly where I want, and it's just kind of annoying. I know a lot of people love these things. They're not my favorites. I very rarely reach for them. I just, you know, I don't know. I just very rarely reach for them. And also the glitter ones, I tend to get a lot of fallout from the glitter ones, which I don't like. Nellie says she loves ColourPop eyeshadows. And Nellie, I think a lot of people agree with you. Sydney says, I really love ColourPop eyeshadows. Girl Crush and Bill are perfect. There you go. See, I have trouble. Yeah, fingers are great for applying eyeshadow. You're absolutely right, Jennifer. And I think that especially if you want a more pigmented look, using your fingers is a great way to go. And Nellie says fingers work best with ColourPop eyeshadows. But I feel like I get it like all like in the wrong place when I use my fingers. So my fingers are too big for what I want to do. Makes it difficult for me. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Olivia says, I actually love the ColourPop shadows. I probably own 30 or 40. And I think a lot of people do. I just not my personal thing. So Nancy agrees with me. Somebody agrees with me. Cheyenne says, ColourPop eyeshadows don't stay on my lids. End up giving most of mine away. I did just give away a bunch of them. So Sahaj, I hope you enjoy them. Because Sahaj is here. I hope you enjoy those ColourPops because I had so much trouble with them. All right, we have 4 minutes and we didn't do eyeliner and we didn't do lip products. We might skip lip products. Let's just do eyeliner because eyeliner I feel like is really important to talk about because there are different kinds of eyeliner and I feel like they really are for different purposes. I feel like more than anything else here, I feel like the formulas of eyeliner really makes a difference in application, huge difference. My favorite kind are pen liners. These really haven't been around all that long to my knowledge. There's the brush kind for the longest time was the closest you could get to something like this, where there's a little brush at the end and you dipped it in and then you pulled it out and you had some product on the brush and you would put that on. And they were kind of difficult to work with in my opinion. They would smudge and smear. I feel like this is kind of improvement in my opinion on the eyeliner formula. The pen tip makes it super easy to go on. This one is the Too Faced sketch marker. I'm just starting to try this out. I got it in with the Nikki Tutorials palette. So far so good. Things are going well with it, but I can't give it a full review yet. I still want to play with it like 1 or 2 times. So far, I do really, really like it though. The Jessie's Girl one, I absolutely love. You can get it at some Rite Aid. You can get it at jessiesgirl.com. You can get it on Amazon. That one's amazing. It's like $7. And then the Too Faced So Fine. Tarte So Fine liner is really, really good. And the e.l.f. one, I really like that one. Was in my favorites for this month, the e.l.f. one. Kat Von D liquid liner and Trooper, Tracy says, totally agree. Pam says, I didn't care too much for the Too Faced sketch marker. It didn't work for you. I would love to know why it didn't work for you. I want to know more about that. Sketch markers, I think they're like $20, something like that for the sketch marker. Best type of eyeliner for hooded eyes, I would probably say something that sets really fast. If you can find a marker tip that sets really fast, I would go with that. Because the biggest problem with eyeliner and people with hooded eyes is the transfer. And if you can't get it to set, it transfers and it's really bad. Pencil liners might be a little bit better, but this is my deal with pencil liners. I feel like pencil liners are the most difficult eyeliner to work with on the upper lash line unless you want that smudgy look. You can't get a wing with a pencil unless it's super, super, super stinking sharp. Like you can't get a wing with it. It doesn't work. So what I use these for, the Sephora pencil liners are stinking amazing. I use them for the lower lash line. Just love them for the lower lash line. And they stay on all day long. They're gorgeous. Waterline, they don't stay so much, but they definitely stay on the lash line. Give a beautiful pop of color. They're amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I have so much trouble on my upper lash line with pencils, just in general. Makeup Fabulousness says, I heard the sketch marker bleeds. I have not had that problem at all, but it's good to know that some people are having that problem. Shannon says the Stila Stay All Day lasts on my oily hooded lids. I do like that one. That's really good to know, Shannon. Thank you so much for that. Jenna says the Stila one is the best. I missed the rest of it. It went too fast. Cindy says the NYX Très Jolie are wonderful for the waterline. That's great to know. And Karen says pencils are good for the upper waterline. Yes, for tight lining, for going, I'm not going to do it because it looks really creepy. but I agree, absolutely, because I wouldn't use a marker for that kind of thing. Last kind of eyeliner, because it's $5.59. I got to go spend some time with my family. Last thing I wanted to tell you about is gel eyeliners. Now, gel eyeliners, my only complaint about gel eyeliners is you got to have a brush. You can't apply these any other way unless you have a brush, but they can go on really, really smooth, really, really easily if you have a nice fine brush. I personally really enjoy a slanted eyeliner brush, like the flat slanted kind. You can also use a very thin one. It's really what's best for you. Makeup Magic says try the Unique. I tried one product from Unique and I was done. I was so mad at that mascara. I was like, no more. And the people who sell Unique a lot of times can be very, very pushy, and I don't like that either. So they kind of ruined it for me, the whole Unique thing. I am like, no, I'm like all jaded now. So I'm like, no, it may be amazing. I could be totally wrong on this. I could be totally poo-pooing something that's amazing. But for me, I'm like, because they made me mad. So that's just me. Tiffany Dawn is here. Great YouTube channel. Hey, what's up? Pam says the sketch marker bleeds, not fully matte finish, con for her. The tip dries out too quickly. It breaks down on her. She has oily lids and watery eyes. Gel and brush is what works for her. Very good. You understand? Have you tried it, Makeup Magic, the Unique stuff? Because that's just me. I don't know. Kaylee says 6 in the USA right now. It's 4 in Alberta. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock. But for me, honestly, like if I had to pick any kind of eyeliner for ease of use, I would choose the pen liners. Close second for the gel liners, and I only use pencil liners for the lower lash line or for tight lining. I don't use them for upper lash line because they're too hard for me to work with. I don't enjoy them. It's not fun for me. Steph says I stabbed myself with my sketch marker and it hurt and the ink bled into my eye. Steph, that's terrible. That's the saddest story I heard all day, Steph. Oh my goodness. Rose says, this was my first live chat. Take care and thanks for a good afternoon. Enjoy the fam. Thank you so much for being here, Rose. It was great to have you here. So I am going to go ahead and go over. I'm going to stop reading and I'm going to go over to my screen so I can see. Oh, my head was chopped off. Was my head chopped off the whole time? Maybe. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you being here for chat. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions of things you'd like to talk about next week, totally up for suggestions. You can leave those in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on different formulas. What formulas of different products work for you? You can leave them in the comment section down below. If you're here in the live chat, you're gonna have to wait about 15 minutes or so for the video to process before you can even comment on it. But if you're watching on the replay, you should be able to comment right away. Every once in a while, it'll cut off the entire chat except for the last 15 minutes of it. So if it's processing and you can only see 15 minutes of the chat, that's why. Just give it another 15, 20 minutes and you'll be able to see the whole thing. But yeah, I would love to hear your suggestions. If you want to chat some more, a couple ways you can do that. We have a wonderful Facebook page. You can join it over at groups, Facebook/groups/What's Up in Makeup. Fantastic group of ladies over there having great conversation. We have a What's Up in Makeup app. The app you can download for Apple or Android. You just go to whatever your story is, type in either Jen Loves Reviews or What's Up in Makeup, whatever one. You should be able to use both. Jen Loves Reviews seems to be the easiest way to find it. And you can find the app. It's kind of like Instagram-y, but for really, really nice people. And let's see, what else? Oh, there's a forum over on whatsupinmakeup.com and also Periscope. You can follow me on Periscope. We do live chatting on there all the time. So yeah. That's all I wanted to say. So if you want to keep talking, lots of ways to do that. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll be here back chatting next week, 10 a.m. Eastern time. So hopefully I'll see you then. Mad love. Bye.